This video is a dramatized reconstruction based on a true story. Right now, I'm at the North Korean border levee, caught by a guard. My backpack is being searched. If they find the South Korean passport inside my mother, and I are finished. From this moment, I'll tell you everything about how I infiltrated North Korea as a South Korean citizen, and how I survived and returned after 22 days. 3 years ago, I risked my life to escape from North Korea, and now I'm living an ordinary life in South Korea. But every night, I couldn't sleep thinking about my mother. My mother, left alone in North Korea, she was already over 70 years old. Tried countless times to help her defect through brokers, but failed every time. That's when I made an insane decision. I'll go get her myself. Everyone tried to stop me. They said if a South Korean citizen is caught infiltrating North Korea, they'd be branded as a spy and executed. But I couldn't wait any longer. May 2024. I arrived at a Chinese border city. The broker gave me one last warning. Border security is at its worst right now. Kim Jong-un has intensified defection crackdowns, and the guards are on edge. Are you really going? I nodded. In my backpack were an iPhone, a solar charger, and a South Korean passport that absolutely must not be discovered. The iPhone could pick up Chinese roaming near the border. This was my only means of communication. 11 p.m. I walked toward the Yalu River. To cross the river of no return, the water was colder than I expected. Even in May, the Yalu River was ice cold. I waded through knee-deep water and crossed the river. I could see the levee, a 3-meter-high concrete wall. If I climb over this, I'm in North Korea. I groped with my hands and climbed up the levee. But at that moment, I lost my footing. The pile of stones and trash on top of the levee collapsed. That sound echoed through the night. Silence. I heard dogs barking, and flashlight beams started moving toward me. This is it. It's a guard. Who's there? Hands up. The guard pointed his gun at me. He looked like a young soldier in his early 20s. Open your bag. He started searching through my backpack. My heart felt like it would explode. Inside the backpack were the iPhone and the South Korean passport. If the passport is found, I become a spy. My mother would be finished too under guilt by association. The guard's hand went deeper and deeper. That's when I saw it. A fist-sized stone at my feet. I was at a moment of choice. If I get caught like this, both my mother and I will die. I'm sorry, but I have to save my mother. The next moment, I picked up that stone. I can't tell you exactly what happened, but the guard fell, and I survived. I grabbed the iPhone and passport and ran like crazy. 1 hour no, an hour and a half without stopping. Soon they'd declare a state of emergency. I had to reach my mother before then. I passed through forests, crossed rice fields, and ran hiding through village alleys. The sky was getting brighter. My whole body was covered in blood and mud. And finally, I stood in front of my mother's gate. I didn't have time to hesitate too long. I knocked on the gate. Knock, knock, knock. The door opened. Who is it? It was my mother. My mother's face after 3 years. Mother, it's me. My mother looked at me with disbelief, and she started crying. You really came. There was no time to embrace. It was getting light outside. I quickly pushed my mother inside and closed the door. Mother, there's no time. We have to go to South Korea right now. But my mother's reaction was different from what I expected. South Korea? No, they said it's hell there. They said poor people all starve to death. My mother had lived in North Korea for over 50 years. The propaganda about South Korea was completely ingrained. Mother, please look at this. I took out my iPhone, and I showed her photos of the apartment where I live. This is my home. Inside this small room, there's a bathroom, and both hot and cold water come from the tap. That makes sense? How can hot water come out without heating it? My mother looked incredulous. I showed her photos of my refrigerator. Full of food. Is this all yours? Yes, Mother. And this is Seoul at night. All these lights are electricity. They stay on all night. My mother's eyes started to waver little by little. I succeeded in convincing my mother. But there was a problem. Due to the incident with the guard, a special alert was declared at the border. The broker contacted me. You need to hide for at least 20 days. Absolutely do not move. 20 days, where could I endure that long time? My mother found a solution. A small farm shed in a potato field on the outskirts of the village. Nobody goes there. Hide there? So I entered the farm shed. A narrow space less than 2 meters on each side. I had to endure 20 days here. Without moving, without making a sound, the iPhone was my only lifeline. I could only contact the broker when the Chinese roaming signal occasionally connected. To save battery, I held the solar panel against a crack in the window all day to charge it. Day 1, day 2. Day 3 time really didn't pass dot. It was so hot inside the shed. Late May in North Korea was already summer. I sat curled up all day in a narrow space with no ventilation. I couldn't go to the bathroom. Only at night would I sneak out. Well, I'll skip the details. My mother brought me food once a day. Mostly corn porridge or potatoes. Son, just hang in there. Just a little longer. My mother said that every time and shed tears. That 10 days passed. I lost 7 kilograms. Even without moving, I was losing weight. I think it was because of the stress. Every sound from outside was a threat. People's voices, dogs barking, cars passing. Are they coming to find me? With those thoughts, I couldn't sleep properly, even at night. Finally, June 8th arrived. The planned escape day. The broker said he'd bribed one of the border guards. Come at exactly 11 p.m. on June 8th. The guard will look the other way. There was hope. My mother and I carefully left the farm shed. After 20 days, I breathed outside air. It was a 2-hour distance to the border. We moved slowly under cover of darkness. 11 p.m. sharp. We arrived at the meeting place. I saw the bribed guard. But I'm sorry. It can't be today. What? The shifts changed. I'm not in charge of this area today. Go back quickly. At that moment, everything collapsed. The border was 1 meter. Away just 1 more meter, and we'd be in China. Try again next time. Hurry. The guard urgently sent us back. I held my mother's hand and walked back into the darkness. I was devastated. So devastated. On the way back home, my mother and I separated at a fork in the road. Mother, you go home. I'll go to my relative's house. Be careful, son. That was the last conversation I had with my mother. I arrived behind the wall of my relative's house. But state security. Open the door. I heard shouting in the distance. It was from my mother's house. My heart stopped. Torches and flashlight beams surrounded my mother's house. The sound of the door breaking, and it was my mother's scream. I froze in place. Mothery have to go. I have to save Mother, but my feet wouldn't move. If I go, we'll both die. Then I heard sounds from my relative's house too. This is state security. We need to search the house. They were looking for me. I jumped over the wall, and I ran like crazy toward the mountain behind. Branches scratched my face. I tripped over stones, but I kept running. After running for a while, I hid behind a tree. I was gasping for breath. I looked down. Torches were still moving around the village, and I heard my mother's voice. This person is not my son. What? I just gave food to a deserter out of pity. I don't know this boy. My mother was saying she didn't know me. At that moment, I realized Mother was lying to save me. To buy me time to escape, she was taking all the blame alone. Why are you doing this? Please, please. My mother's screams echoed like a mountain echo. I cried silently in that spot. Mother, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Dawn broke. I made a decision. I would survive. I would definitely save my mother. Leaving my mother behind was the most painful choice in the world. But if I get caught here, my mother's sacrifice would be in vain. I had to survive. I had to go back to South Korea and help my mother defect. Came down the mountain and headed back to the border. This time, it was a more dangerous route. Security was tight, but there was no choice. The high levee. I climbed that same levee I crossed the first time. I paused on top of the levee. I looked back. Somewhere beyond there is my mother. Mother, I will definitely bring you out. We will meet again alive. Jumped down from the levee. The moment my feet touched Chinese soil, I started running again. 2 days of hell. Now I could see the end. I arrived in Korea via China, but at the airport exit police were waiting. Mr. Kong Ho, you're under arrest for violating the National Security Act and unauthorized entry to North Korea. I expected this. Since a South Korean citizen infiltrated North Korea, of course I had to be punished. Handcuffs were placed on me. Just after escaping hell, another hell was beginning. National Intelligence Service interrogation. Police interrogation, endless questioning continued. Why did you go to North Korea? To bring my mother. Do you have evidence that you didn't commit espionage? I'm not a spy. I'm just a son who loves his mother. I was imprisoned in a detention center. 5 months, no. I ended up spending 10 months there, but I knew I could only save my mother if I was in Korea. On the 8th month of my imprisonment, a guard approached. Mr. Kong Ho, you have an international call. An international call? I picked up the receiver. And son, mom is here in Thailand. Mother? Mother's voice? Mother. Is it really you? You're alive? Yes, mom is okay. I'm at a refugee camp in Thailand. I collapsed right there. Mother is alive. And she successfully defected. I learned later that after I was arrested, the broker tried to help my mother defect again. My mother was under state security surveillance. But she eventually succeeded in escaping. You saved me. Son, mother, I couldn't continue speaking. I just cried. The court took my circumstances into consideration. The defendant had no espionage activities, and his actions are judged to have stemmed purely from filial piety to save his mother. I sentenced him to 2 years in prison, suspended for 3 years. Suspended sentence, I was being released. After 10 months, the detention center iron door opened. I breathed the outside air, the free air. And in front of the release gate, my mother was standing there. She looked gaunt, but she was alive. She was smiling. I slowly approached my mother. Mother, son, let's live together now. Like that, we held each other tight. Everyone. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe. And I hope the day comes when we can all freely meet our families. Thank you.